Welcome to Shop Strategy, powered by Growth Suite. Ever feel like you've built this incredible Shopify store, stocked it with amazing products, but it's like you're shouting into the void,
Uh-huh.
you're putting in the work, but the customers just aren't finding you?
Yeah.
It's a frustrating feeling, right? Like running the world's best kept secret.
Oh, absolutely. That frustration is something we hear all the time, and it really it underscores why search engine optimization, SEO, is so vital for any online business.
Yeah.
Think about it. You could be spending, what, $2 or $3 every single time someone clicks on a Google ad.
Oof. Yeah.
Now, what if you could get those same targeted visitors, people actively searching for exactly what you sell, showing up at your digital doorstep for free?
Exactly. That's the dream, isn't it? We've been digging into the insights from the shopstrategy.com, and the potential here is genuinely game-changing.
It really is.
We're talking about well-optimized Shopify stores attracting over 1,000 free visitors each month. 1,000.
And that's consistent traffic, too.
Right. And these aren't just flyby visitors. Ranking well can bring in steady traffic for a year, sometimes even like 18 months. Plus, here's the statistic that really jumped out at me.
Okay.
Stores with strong SEO often see a 20 to 30% lower cart abandonment rate.
Wow, that's significant. Fewer people leaving before they buy.
Huge impact on your bottom line. So our goal today is basically to cut through the noise, understand the SEO landscape within Shopify,
Yeah.
figure out where it shines, where it kind of stumbles, and most importantly, give you actionable strategies to unlock that flow of free traffic.
Yeah, we're going to unpack everything. We'll look at how Shopify structures your websites, addresses the URLs, and how you organize your content collections, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Then we'll get into the more technical aspects, the behind-the-scenes stuff that influences how search engines see your site, and definitely focus on smart keyword research and optimizing your pages to connect with the right customers. It's all about taking control of your online visibility.
Sounds good. So let's kick things off with some positive news first. What are some of the SEO advantages that Shopify offers, like right out of the box? What's it getting right from the start?
Well, Shopify builds in some really fundamental SEO elements automatically, which is great. A key one is the auto-generation of canonical tags.
Canonical tags, okay.
Yeah.
What do those actually do?
So imagine you have the same product listed in multiple collections. Say a red dress is in your summer dresses collection and your red clothing collection.
Right, happens all the time.
These tags essentially tell Google which version of that product page is the main one, the canonical one. This prevents Google from getting confused by seeing the same dress on different URLs and potentially thinking it's duplicate content.
Ah, okay, so it's like saying, hey, Google, ignore those other ones. This is the real page for this dress.
Precisely. It avoids splitting your SEO value. Shopify also automatically creates your sitemap.xml and your robots.txt files.
Okay, essential files. All right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Think of the sitemap as a detailed map of all the pages on your store, products, collections, blogs, making it easier for search engines like Google to find and crawl everything efficiently.
Got it, like giving Google the blueprint.
Exactly. And the robots.txt file acts like a set of instructions, telling those search engine crawlers which parts of your site they should maybe avoid or which parts are okay to access. These are crucial for efficient indexing.
Okay, so those are some critical technical foundations handled automatically. That's good. What about the tools Shopify gives store owners that they can actually, use and interact with day to day?
Yeah, Shopify offers pretty user-friendly tools for tackling the essential on-page SEO. You can easily edit the title tags and meta descriptions for your product pages, collection pages, blog posts.
And those are the bits you actually see in the Google search results, right? The blue link and a little description underneath.
Exactly. So optimizing those with your keywords and some compelling language is really key to getting people to click through to your store. You also have some ability to customize the URLs, although we'll definitely need to talk about the limitations there soon.
Okay, noted.
And maybe most importantly for visual products, you can add alt text to your images. This describes what the image is to search engines, which helps with image search rankings. Plus, setting up links to your social media profiles is straightforward, which can indirectly boost your overall online presence.
Okay, so Shopify gives you the reins for the key elements people see in search, which is important.
Yeah.
But as you hinted, it's not a completely open playground. Our source highlights some definite limitations. Where does Shopify typically fall short when it comes to SEO?
Yeah, the limitations we see tend to cluster around, I'd say, two main areas. First, there are what we can call platform constraints. These are just inherent to how Shopify is built and operates.
It's like things you just can't change.
Pretty much. Think of that rigid URL structure we mentioned, and also the way it handles the organization of your content, like blog posts and collections. Second, there's this kind of trade-off between convenience and flexibility.
Ah, the classic trade-off.
Right. Shopify is designed to be super user-friendly, get you up and running quickly, which is fantastic, especially for beginners. But that ease of use sometimes means less flexibility when you want to implement more advanced or highly customized SEO strategies later on.
Okay, that convenience versus control thing makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's dig into those platform constraints first, starting with the URL structure. You said it was rigid. What are the specific limitations Shopify imposes there?
So Shopify has a very defined and crucially unchangeable structure for your main page URLs. Every single product page must follow the format yourstore.com/product-name.
Always products in there.
Always products. And similarly, every collection page is yourstore.com/cosmetics collection. Collection now. Always collections. There's just no way to fundamentally alter that pattern within the core Shopify platform itself.
Huh. So if I were selling, let's say, fancy leather wallets, and I really wanted a URL like mystore.com leather goodsman's wallets, the executive wallet, that's just not possible with the standard Shopify setup.
Exactly that. You'd get mystore.com/the executive wallet. And this lack of flexibility has a couple of pretty significant SEO downsides.
Okay, what are they?
Firstly, you lose that ability to create those really specific, keyword-rich URLs that can sometimes give you a slight edge in rankings, like including men's wallets in the URL path itself.
Right.
But maybe more importantly, it restricts your ability to build a truly hierarchical site structure within your URLs, where the URL itself clearly shows the relationship between pages, like category to subcategory product. That clear hierarchy is something both users and search engines really appreciate for understanding how your site is organized.
Okay, so the URLs don't really reflect the structure you might have in your navigation menu, for instance.
Pretty much. And this rigid URL structure, as the article we looked at points out, directly contributes to a potentially major headache: duplicate content.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That sounds bad. How does that actually happen on Shopify?
It's a really common challenge, actually. Because of that fixed URL pattern, the same product can often end up being accessible through multiple different web addresses. Let's use an example. Say you have a pair of blue running shoes.
Yeah.
They'll have their main product page URL, like mystore.com/products blue running shoes. But maybe you also put them in your running shoes collection.
Makes sense.
And maybe also in a blue gear collection or even a spring sale collection. Each of those collection pages generates a unique URL that also displays those same blue running shoes. So you might have mystore.com/collections running shoes products blue running shoes, and mystore.com collections blue gear products blue running shoes.
Whoa. Okay, so Google crawls my site and sees the exact same pair of blue running shoes at like 3 or 4 different web addresses. That sounds incredibly confusing for Google.
It is. From Google's perspective, it just looks like you have multiple identical or nearly identical pages. It doesn't know which one is the main one to prioritize for indexing or ranking.
So it might just pick one randomly. Or worse.
It can dilute your SEO efforts. It essentially forces your own pages to compete against each other in the search results for the same keywords. You're splitting your ranking potential.
Yikes. Okay. And it's not just about products appearing in multiple collections, is it? The article also mentioned product variations causing similar issues.
Yes, that's another layer. If you sell, say, a t-shirt that comes in 5 different colors and 3 different sizes.
Standard stuff.
Shopify essentially creates 15 very similar pages, often differentiated only by a slight URL parameter for the specific variant selected. While the core content is mostly the same, these slight variations can still be seen as near duplicates by search engines.
So what's the risk there?
The risk is that Google might only index and rank one or maybe a few of those variant pages properly. So someone searching specifically for the read large version might not easily find it, even if you have it, because Google indexed the blue medium page instead. It can potentially hide your other available options from the searchers.
Okay, so the URL situation definitely presents some clear challenges. Rigidity, lack of hierarchy, and this duplicate content risk. But the good news is the article also offered some actual solutions, right? Some ways to navigate these limitations.
Yes, absolutely. There are workarounds. The most fundamental one is to really leverage those canonical tags we talked about earlier.
The ones Shopify adds automatically.
Exactly. While Shopify adds them, It's crucial to verify that they are correctly pointing to the preferred main version of your product page. You want to double check that if a product is accessible through multiple collection URLs, the canonical tag on those secondary URLs points back firmly to the primary product name URL.
So it's about double-checking Shopify's homework and making sure it's consistently telling Google, this is the master copy.
Precisely. Reinforce which is the original and most important version. What else can store owners do? Well, given that you can't easily change the URL structure itself.
Right. Stuck with products and collections.
Focusing on building a strong network of internal links becomes even more critical.
Linking between your own pages.
Exactly. This means having a really clear and logical menu structure, your main navigation, that guides both users and search engines smoothly through your product categories. It also involves adding relevant contextual links within your product descriptions, maybe linking to related products or the collection it belongs to, or a relevant blog post.
Making connections within the site.
Yeah. And don't underestimate the value of breadcrumb navigation. You know, those little links usually at the top of the page showing the path, like home men's shoes, running shoes.
Oh yeah, I like those. Helps you know where you are.
They do. And they also help search engines understand your site hierarchy and allow users to easily navigate back up to broader categories.
Okay, so strong internal linking and clear navigation become extra important because the URLs themselves don't provide that structure.
Makes sense.
And for bigger stores, maybe with more complex needs or bigger budgets, are there more advanced solutions?
Yes. For stores with the resources, custom development can offer some more advanced ways to manage these URL-related SEO challenges.
Like hiring a Shopify expert.
Exactly. They could potentially modify your theme to implement more sophisticated redirect strategies, maybe clean up some variant URL issues, or even explore specialized Shopify apps that are specifically designed to help manage canonical URLs more granularly, or potentially create slightly more SEO-friendly URL appearances within Shopify's framework. It gets technical, but options exist.
Okay, good to know. So while you can't totally rewrite Shopify's URL rules, there are definitely proactive steps verifying canonicals, smart linking, maybe custom dev to minimize any negative SEO impacts.
Oh.
Cool. Now let's pivot to another area the article highlighted, that content and how you organize it. It suggested Shopify's built-in blogging isn't exactly a powerhouse for SEO.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, I think. I mean, Shopify's blog features are adequate, for making basic announcements or sharing company updates.
Like we have a new product kind of thing.
Exactly, but they really lack the robust content organization capabilities you'd find on a dedicated content management system, like WordPress, for example. And this can be a real obstacle if content marketing writing, helpful articles, guides, etc., is a significant part of your overall SEO strategy.
Okay. What are some of the specific ways Shopify's blog falls short when it comes to organizing content effectively for SEO?
Well, the primary limitation is the lack of a true hierarchical structure for your content. Just like with products and collections, you can't easily create subcategories within your blog. You can't nest blog categories.
So no recipes, desserts, cake recipes.
Nope. Shopify primarily uses tags for organizing blog content. And tags are essentially a flat, non-hierarchical system. Everything's kind of on the same level.
Right.
As your blog grows and you have hundreds of posts, using only tags can become really difficult to manage, and it makes it harder for both your users and for search engines to understand the relationships between different articles and topics.
Right. So it's harder to build those topical silos or content hubs that signal to Google, hey, we're a real authority on, say, sustainable fashion.
Exactly that. You can't easily group related content together in a structured way that search engines clearly recognize. And the blogging interface itself also has some functional limitations that can indirectly impact SEO.
Like what?
For instance, uploading multiple images to a post at once can be a bit cumbersome. There's no built-in, easy way to add no-follow tags to external links, which is important for managing your site's link equity.
Okay.
And integrating other valuable features like maps for local businesses or clear call-to-action buttons within blog posts or robust commenting systems or even slick integrated social sharing buttons often requires relying on installing third-party apps.
More apps, which can potentially slow down the site, as we'll probably discuss later.
Exactly. It all adds up. So, yeah, it sounds like if you're really serious about building out a substantial content library specifically for SEO purposes, you might find Shopify's native blogging tools a bit restrictive over time.
And this lack of hierarchy isn't just confined to the blog, right? The article mentioned it also affects the overall site structure and navigation.
Yes, it ties back to that relatively flat directory structure imposed by Shopify. It can make it challenging to create a really intuitive and logical site navigation experience, especially for larger stores with many categories.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you sell apparel. You might want a clear navigation path like men's clothing shirts, t-shirts. Well, you can certainly create collections for each of those levels.
Yeah, you'd have a men's clothing collection, a shirts collection, etc.
Right. But establishing that clear parent-child relationship in the underlying site architecture and URL structure isn't straightforward. This can sometimes lead to a navigation menu that feels a bit sprawling or less organized than ideal for users. And it can make it slightly harder for search engines to definitively understand the most important cornerstone content on your site.
And the article mentioned this could lead to dead-end pages.
Yeah, that's a risk. If the structure isn't super clear, visitors might land on a page, maybe a specific product or a less important collection, and not be clearly guided towards related content or other relevant products. They hit a dead end, get confused or frustrated, and just leave. That increases your bounce rates, which isn't great for SEO either.
Okay, so another set of challenges around structure and organization. What strategies can Shopify store owners use to work around these limitations in content and hierarchy?
Well, similarly to the URL situation, custom development is an option for more significant changes. You could potentially work with a developer to customize your theme, to display collections in a more hierarchical fashion, even if the underlying structure is flat.
Like faking the hierarchy visually.
Kind of, yeah. Or implement things like mega menus, those big drop-down menus you see on large sites that can visually showcase the relationships between categories much more clearly. Or even create more sophisticated custom tagging systems for your blog that help mimic a category structure for users.
Okay, those sound like potentially bigger projects. Are there more readily accessible tactics that store owners can implement themselves without needing a developer right away?
Absolutely. Strategic content planning becomes paramount here. First, really think about your main navigation. Try to limit its depth. Maybe avoid having too many nested subcategories to avoid overwhelming visitors.
It's even reasonably simple.
Yes, and use clear, descriptive, and consistent naming conventions for your collections. So instead of just hats, maybe you use men's hats or women's winter hats, be specific. Critically evaluate your existing navigation structure. Are there redundant paths, confusing labels? Clean it up.
Makes sense. Be ruthless.
Kind of. And once again, internal linking is a super powerful tool here. Make sure you're contextually linking between related products within your descriptions. Link relevant blog posts to product pages and product pages back to relevant blog posts. Build those connections manually to create those topical clusters.
Reinforce the relationships that the structure doesn't automatically create.
Exactly. And there are even tools out there like autolink.a was mentioned that can help automate some of this internal linking process based on keywords, which could be useful for larger stores.
Interesting. Okay, so thoughtful planning, clear naming, and really focusing on smart internal linking can definitely help create a more navigable and SEO-friendly site, even within Shopify's structural limits.
Okay.
Good. Now let's delve into the more technical side of things. The article highlighted some technical SEO limitations within Shopify. What are the main concerns here?
Yeah, one of the biggest technical SEO factors, and honestly a frequent challenge we see with Shopify stores, is page speed and overall site performance.
Oh, fast the site loads.
Exactly. Google has been very explicit that site speed is a ranking signal, especially for mobile search results. Slow loading pages can definitely negatively impact your visibility and not to mention annoy your potential customers.
Totally. What are the common culprits that tend to slow down Shopify sites specifically?
Large unoptimized images are probably the #1 offender. People upload these beautiful high-resolution photos straight from a camera,
Which look great.
but they're huge files. Shopify doesn't automatically compress images significantly when you upload them, so those big files can really bog down page load times, especially on mobile.
Okay, so image size is key. What else?
The sheer number of apps you install can have a huge cumulative effect. Each app often adds its own code, things like JavaScript and CSS files, which the visitor's browser has to download and process.
The more apps, the more code, the slower it gets.
Generally, yes. Especially if the apps aren't well optimized themselves. It can really add up and slow things down, particularly on mobile devices. Also, while Shopify does have some built-in caching mechanisms to help speed things up,
Caching like remembering parts of the site so it loads faster next time.
sort of, yeah. But Shopify's caching isn't always as robust or as customizable as what you might find with dedicated web hosting solutions. This can sometimes impact performance, again, especially for mobile users perhaps on slower internet connections.
Okay, so it's this tricky balance between having a visually rich store, using apps for lots of functionality, and still making sure it loads quickly and efficiently.
Got it. Another technical area mentioned was structured data. What's the issue there?
Right, structured data. This is basically special code you add to your website's HTML that helps search engines understand the content on your pages much more clearly and specifically.
Like telling Google, this number is the price, this text is the product name, these are the reviews.
Exactly. And when Google understands this information better, it can use it to create those enhanced search results, often called rich snippets. Think about seeing star ratings, prices, stock availability right there in the search results listing.
Oh yeah, those definitely catch your eye.
They do. They can significantly improve your click-through rate. Now, while Shopify does implement some basic structured data for product information automatically,
It does some of it for you. It does some basics, yeah. But it's often quite generic. It might not fully represent all the nuances of your specific products, especially if you have complex variations, unique selling points, or specific attributes you want to highlight. This limited default implementation can mean you miss out on fully leveraging the potential of those eye-catching rich snippets.
so you might not get the stars or the price displayed, even if you have reviews and prices.
You might, but it might not be as consistent or as detailed as it could be with more specific structured data markup.
Okay. And finally, the article touched on the limited technical control you have as a Shopify user because it's a hosted platform. Can you expand on that a bit?
Sure. Because Shopify manages all the underlying server infrastructure, the hosting, the security, the updates, you, as the store owner, have restricted access to certain things. You can't just log into the server and tweak settings or access the full website code base like you might on a self-hosted platform like WordPress on your own server.
Right. They handle all that complex stuff for you, which is part of the appeal, but it means less control.
Exactly. And this limits some of the more advanced technical SEO tactics you might employ elsewhere. For instance, Shopify doesn't offer built-in support for accelerated mobile pages, or AMP.
AMP. What's that again?
It's a Google-backed project designed to make mobile web pages load almost instantly. It's a separate, stripped-down version of your page. Shopify doesn't natively support creating those AMP versions. Also, while Shopify generates your robots.txt file, your ability to directly edit and fine-tune it for very specific crawling instructions is quite limited compared to having direct server access.
Okay, so you're essentially operating within the technical boundaries that Shopify sets. But again, as with the other areas, there must be strategies to mitigate these technical limitations, right? We're not just stuck.
Not at all. There are definitely things you can do. For page speed, the absolute most impactful thing is optimizing your images. Seriously, compress them before you upload them to Shopify.
Don't just upload the raw file.
Please don't. Use tools like TinyPNG or Squoosh, which is a great one from Google, or other image compression software. Get those file sizes down while maintaining quality. Also, choose lightweight and mobile responsive Shopify themes. Some themes are just built leaner and faster than others.
So theme choice matters for speed.
Big time. And be really selective about the apps you install. Regularly audit your installed apps maybe every few months. Ask yourself, do I really still need this app? Is it providing enough value to justify any potential performance hit? If not, uninstall it.
Good advice. App spring cleaning.
Totally. Use tools like Google Page Speed Insights. It's free to analyze your site's speed and get specific recommendations for improvement. And consider investing in performance-focused apps if needed, ones specifically designed for things like advanced image optimization or code minification.
Okay, so proactive image handling,
Yeah.
smart theme choice, and careful app management. What about fixing the structured data limitations?
For enhancing your structured data, there are specialized schema markup apps available in the Shopify App Store. These apps can often extend Shopify's default capabilities and allow you to add more specific markup for reviews, FAQs, local business info, and more complex product attributes.
So look for a dedicated schema app.
That's often a good starting point. And again, for really complex needs or unique product types, custom development might be an option to work with an expert to implement highly tailored structured data markup directly into your theme code.
Right. So again, options exist ranging from apps to custom work. It sounds like a proactive approach to optimizing your assets, and being mindful of apps are key for tackling these technical SEO challenges on Shopify. Okay, let's move on to the crucial final piece of this puzzle. keyword research and actually optimizing your content. The article highlights some unique challenges specifically for Shopify stores here.
Yeah, definitely. One really common mistake we see is Shopify store owners targeting extremely broad and hyper-competitive keywords.
Like trying to rank for just shoes.
Exactly. Or, if you're a small boutique selling handmade leather wallets in Portland, trying to rank nationally for just men's wallet
Yeah.
against Amazon and huge department stores, it's going to be an incredibly tough, likely losing battle.
Right. You need to be more specific.
Way more specific. Another related pitfall is keyword stuffing. This is where people try to cram as many keywords as possible into their product descriptions, titles, everywhere, thinking more is better.
Buy our best red running shoes, cheap red running shoes, fast red running shoes.
Exactly. It sounds unnatural, it's bad for the user experience, and Google is smart enough to see through it now. It doesn't work and can even hurt you. And perhaps the most critical issue we often see is a disconnect, a misalignment, between the keywords someone thinks they should target and the actual details, benefits, and unique value proposition of the products they're selling.
Can you give an example of that misalignment?
Sure. Maybe you're trying to rank for eco-friendly baby clothes, which is a good specific term, but then your actual product descriptions barely mention the organic cotton or the sustainable manufacturing processes or the non-toxic dyes. The content doesn't actually back up the keyword you're targeting.
Ah, okay. The promise of the keyword isn't fulfilled on the page.
Precisely. And Shopify's template structure itself can sometimes present challenges for content optimization too. Depending on your theme, you might have limited direct control over certain key on-page elements, like the main H1 heading tag. Often the theme automatically uses the product title as the H1, and you can't easily change that without coding.
Right.
The layout of product pages can also sometimes be restrictive. We occasionally see themes where the detailed product description gets pushed way down below the fold, below images, variants, add to cart buttons, meaning users have to scroll quite a bit to even see it. That's not ideal for conveying information quickly or for SEO.
Yeah, you want the important stuff visible.
Right. And optimizing a single product page effectively when you have multiple product variations, different colors, sizes, materials, can also be tricky without creating content that feels repetitive or confusing.
Okay, so targeting the wrong keywords, stuffing, misalignment, and some template constraints. How can Shopify store owners conduct effective keyword research that actually leads to the right kind of traffic given these challenges?
The absolute key is to be strategic and focus on finding the right keywords, not just the ones with the highest search volume. Think long-tail keywords.
Those longer, more specific phrases.
Exactly. They are usually longer, like 3, 4, 5 words or more. They have lower search volume individually, but they often indicate a much higher level of buyer intent. Someone searching for men's waterproof hiking boots wide fit is probably much closer to buying than someone just searching for boots.
Makes total sense. They know exactly what they want.
Right. So instead of dog toys, maybe aim for something like durable chew toys for aggressive small dogs. If you're a local business, definitely incorporate local keywords, handmade jewelry Portland, or organic dog treats Austin TX. Be specific about location if it's relevant.
Good tip. And the article mentioned another source for keywords.
Yes, and it's one that's often overlooked. Pay close attention to the actual language your customers use in their reviews and feedback. Read your product reviews. Listen to customer service calls.
Why is that so valuable?
Because that's often a goldmine for discovering the natural, specific terms and phrases people actually use when searching for products like yours. They're literally telling you their search terms.
Huh. That's brilliant. Your customers are doing some of the keyword research for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so focus on long tail, local if applicable, and mind those customer reviews. Once you've identified these relevant keywords, how should you go about actually implementing them on your Shopify store?
A good rule of thumb is to focus on targeting one primary keyword per page. This could be a product page, a collection page, a blog post. Then, naturally incorporate related secondary keyword synonyms, related concepts throughout the content on that page.
Don't just repeat the primary keyword over and over.
Definitely not. Use variations. Aim for a balanced approach across your site. Use maybe broader, shorter tail keywords on your homepage and main category or collection pages. Then get much more specific with those long tail keywords on your individual product pages and in detailed blog posts or guides.
Matching the keyword specificity to the page type.
Exactly. And always, always, always try to ensure that the keywords you're targeting align with the likely search intent behind them. Is the person searching just looking for information, comparing options, or are they clearly ready to make a purchase? Your content needs to be tailored to match that specific intent.
Okay, great advice. Match keyword to page, use related terms, balance broad and specific, and always consider the searcher's intent. Now, when it comes to the actual process of optimizing the content within your Shopify store, the product descriptions, blog posts, etc., what are some effective solutions or best practices?
Okay, for your product pages, job number 1 is crafting unique and compelling product descriptions for each item. Avoid just copying and pasting generic text provided by manufacturers, if you can. Make it your own voice, highlight the benefits.
Stand out from competitors using the same supplier text.
Exactly. If you offer product variations, try creating specific benefit sections or bullet points that highlight the unique selling points of each option. Why choose the blue one?
Yeah.
Why the large size? What's special about the premium material variant?
Address the variants specifically.
Yes, and consider using product page templates or theme sections that allow you to strategically place important content, like key features or benefits related to your target keywords, higher up on the page, above the fold if possible.
Okay. What about broader content like blog posts?
Think about developing content that addresses different stages of the customer journey. Some posts might be for awareness, what is sustainable fabric. Some for consideration, comparing different types of hiking boots. Some closer to purchase, how to choose the right size. Prioritize optimizing the content related to your highest value products first. And think about creating really in-depth guides or resources that answer common customer questions thoroughly while naturally incorporating those relevant long-tail keywords.
Become a helpful resource, not just a seller.
That's the goal. And finally, never ever neglect your metadata. That's the title tag and meta description we talked about earlier.
The stuff in the search results.
Right. Keep your title tags concise, ideally under 55-60 characters, and make sure to include your primary keyword, preferably near the beginning. For your meta descriptions, you have a bit more space, maybe under 150, 160 characters. Don't just stuff keywords here. Write compelling copy that clearly communicates the benefit of clicking on your link and visiting your page. Make them want to click.
Okay, so unique descriptions, address variants, plan content for the funnel, create guides, and nail those titles and descriptions. It really sounds like it comes down to being laser-focused on your ideal customer, understanding precisely how they search and what they need, and then strategically weaving that language and value into your website in a natural, helpful way.
You've got it. That's the core of effective Shopify SEO, despite the platform's limitations.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into Shopify SEO for Shop Strategy, powered by Growth Suite. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We certainly have.
From the fundamental advantages Shopify does offer, like those automatic canonical tags, to the various limitations we discussed around URL structure, content organization, technical SEO aspects, and the nuances of keyword research and content optimization. But I think the key takeaway is this. While Shopify definitely has its inherent constraints, its boundaries, there are absolutely effective and practical workarounds that you can implement.
Absolutely. The limitations aren't necessarily deal breakers.
Right. Understanding these limitations, knowing where the platform helps and where it hinders, is really the crucial first step towards significantly boosting your store's visibility in search engines and attracting more of those highly valuable, essentially free customers we talked about at the start.
Couldn't agree more. It's about recognizing the boundaries of the platform you're working within, and then getting creative and strategic to optimize effectively within those boundaries. That's how you maximize your reach and connect with the people who are actively out there looking for exactly what you sell.
Well said. So as you're listening and reflecting on your own Shopify store, maybe think about this. What's one specific area of your SEO that you can take action on, maybe even today, based on our discussion?
Yeah, pick one thing.
Perhaps it's finally going through and verifying those canonical tags on your key products. Or maybe it's sitting down and brainstorming some more specific long-tail keywords that your ideal customers might actually be typing into Google. Here's a final thought to maybe leave you with. What's one secret need or problem or desire your ideal customer has that they might be searching for online right now, but your store isn't currently showing up for, isn't capturing that search?
Ooh, that's a powerful question to ponder. Truly empathizing with your customer, digging deep into their specific pain points, and understanding the exact language they use to articulate their needs. That's often where you uncover those golden opportunities to connect with them through search.
Definitely something to think about. This has been a deep dive into Shopify SEO for Shop strategy, powered by Growth Suite. And remember, beyond just helping you run smart discount campaigns, Growth Suite provides you with powerful analytics to deeply understand your customers, who they are, what they buy, how they behave, and it helps you optimize your offers for maximum impact.
Yeah, those insights are crucial.
Explore unique features like AI-driven product recommendations, personalized campaign triggers based on customer behavior, all designed to take your store's growth to the next level. You can test Growth Suite for free on your Shopify store today. Thanks for tuning in.